Yes, everybody, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur. This is, of course, your fan show after our terrible, terrible display against Fulham on Sunday. Probably looking at that game as a real opportunity to kickstart, get away from this relegation battle that we're in. I don't think we're seeing many signs of improvement at the minute. And we're also not really seeing much of a desire, much of a will or a fight, really, a lot from these players either. It just seems like there's only, if any, one or two guys that maybe look like they even give half a damn in order to try to get themselves out of this. It just seems like they've almost accepted where they are and that they've almost accepted that they probably won't be at the football club maybe after this season, whether we even get relegated or not. So we're in a bad, bad position here, Spurs. Of course, we have to pick ourselves up and see if we can get something from this next game against Palace. I was joking to Brad, who we'll speak to, of course, in this fan show lineup, but this next game against Palace could really be the deciding factor about whether we will get relegated or not, whether we will be able to survive or not. I think most people are really starting to believe that it could actually happen after that performance against Fulham, or lack of a performance, if you will. Plenty of other things to chat about, of course. We'll be talking about Igor Tudor, how much of an
Yeah.
impact, if any impact, that he's had in the time that he's been here. More referee controversies. I mean, as much as we are where we deserve to be, the referees, let's be honest, everybody, have not helped us whatsoever this season and able to alleviate any of the problems that we've been having, or at least make our lives just slightly better, to be honest. And we'll also be talking about what sort of lineup, what sort of players should Igor Tudor be picking for the next game, because when you look at it, the guys that did come in off the bench gave us a fighting chance of potentially kind of shithousing a draw or actually getting back into the game. So we'll be talking about which guys he needs to put his faith into and which guys he needs to, as quickly as possible, take out of that lineup. Before we get to the chat, before we bring people in, Dave, I mean, anything else that you can add to this intro of mine?
No, look, it's a bad time to be a Tottenham fan. Like, we are in serious danger of being relegated. Like, you look at the upcoming games, you don't know where your next one is going to come from. What? 2 wins in our last 20 odd Premier League games. I think no win in our last 10. Worst run since 1994. Like, we're in a right mess. And to your point, it looks like a lot of these players just don't have the stomach to really get out of it. And then you look at these Basuma's words that came out today. Oh, we don't deserve to be here. It's sort of like, that's scary. They feel like they don't deserve to be there, but they are. And none of them are really mucking in to try and get us out of there. And it's sort of like, it concerns me a little. Then you see Igor Tudor come in. You're hoping you see a bit more energy and a bit more bounce about them. Now, I think you could argue, we tried a bit more yesterday, but still nowhere near enough,
Yeah,
and
still not good enough.
you see him come out and criticize the players after. Now, look, me
Yeah.
personally, as a fan, yeah, it's something I want to hear, and I think absolutely dead right. And I do think they need a sort of slap of reality to that degree in the dressing room. But also, do you lose the dressing room at this time by doing that? Do you
Yeah.
need someone that's really sort of going to put the arm around them to a certain degree? So, like, we're in big, big trouble. And then, also, I think the only saving grace to a certain degrees if we do go down. It came out today that Daniel Levy has a 50% wage reduction in every player's contract, bar Conor Gallagher and Sal's are the two players that were signed this January. So, but, you can look at that and go, oh, that's a good thing. We're protecting ourselves if we go down. But, I also would argue, I think it's a very bad thing in terms of you're going to end up losing a lot of your best players, at that rate and stuff like that. So we just need to start getting our act together. This game Thursday is absolutely massive, Jack.
It's amazing that Daniel Levy had the wherewithal to do that, but I guess Johan Lange and Vinay didn't when they signed guys like Conor Gallagher. To think that Conor Gallagher could be on 200K a week with performances he's
It just
put in
goes to show
already,
the
and then to
thinking
get
of board,
relegated.
It just goes to show the thinking of board, though, right? When you're up there continuously, in the Champions League final, and after that you're getting into the Champions League spots now, should you really be having to insert relegation clauses into players' contracts? Should you not be inserting like winning clauses and trophy clauses and stuff into their contracts and stuff? So it really goes to show their level of ambition and their thinking, to a certain degree. Sad,
Yeah.
really.
Well, if anything, too, it also just shows how much Johan Lange and Vinay, I guess, believed that they wouldn't get relegated, with even how little business they actually did in January, that they didn't actually include a relegation clause in Conor Gallagher's contract. And you're actually right to add what I failed to in the intro, that Igor Tudor definitely is not making any friends with the players with some of the words that he's had to say after the press conference. And he's absolutely called them out, pretty much just saying that we can't defend, we can't attack, we can't run, can't do anything at the minute. And he's saying it's lacking in every single department. So he's absolutely coming out and calling out these players.
I
But
get it, but he's the same guy that started Conor Gallagher. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
no,
that's
we'll
where
get
I
into that.
sort of like, if I'm a player in that dressing room, I'm like, you're saying we can't run, but we're watching this guy day in, day out on the training pitch, watching him on the football pitch. He can't move. He's not fit
Yeah.
yet. You select him. So it's sort of like, if I'm in that dressing room, I'm not really listening to, I need you to run like this and I need more intensity and stuff. It's like, well, you can say that, but you're picking this guy every week.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you helped yourself with the lineup and the formation, really, with what you went for. That's 100% true. We're going to get to some people in the chat, and then we'll get this fan show underway. We already, by the way, have a decent queue in the background. So if you want to claim your spot, I would recommend to do it now. And then also, if you could for us, as always, please do smash the like button, hype the video as well. And of course, if you want to become a channel member, it is pinned at the top of the chat. It does help us out a ton. And thanks to all the people that have taken time out of their evening to come on and have their say. Dan Coys is in here nice and early. Big up to you, Dan. Saying, I know it's a Thursday match, but I've not seen so many tickets up for sale on the ticket exchange before. Just in the section where I sit, over 200 tickets are up for sale. Come on, Harris Army. It's funny about that, Dan, as I was joking to Brad that I actually would really want to go to this game on Thursday, not because I'm in any way excited or optimistic. It's a crucial do or die game for Spurs, and it would be interesting just to be there in person to actually see it, really, to make your conclusions and to make your judgments. But I could totally see why it's not, to be honest, a very attractive game. It's actually more like if you just want to see a burning dumpster fire in person or on TV, I guess. Big up to you, Dan. Sean Hurl saying, big up, Dave and Jack. Wherever I look, it's doom and gloom. Tune of the day, REM. It's the end of the world as we know it. Losing My Religion, right, is also REM song. Losing My Faith for Spurs at the minute, Sean Hurl, and just in football in general. Pick up, Sean. Do appreciate your support. Shem Tan saying, hey, Jack and Dave, hope you're good tonight. Hope you're okay, Shem. Always good to have you. Ryan's in the house. He's listening along. Big up to you, Ryan.
You got Rhino.
Ghosted London's in here as well. Big up to you. K32, really appreciate your support, K. Saying, hello, Dave and Jack and everyone. Lost on Thursday in relegation will be staring us in the face. Lack of fight from the players is terrible to see as well. I think this Thursday game is easily the biggest one of the season. Of course, maybe a couple months ago, we wouldn't have looked at this game as being that important, but now I think it really is going to be the deciding factor of whether we stay up or not, to be honest, this Thursday.
I think
game,
they're the last
32.
team we beat, aren't they, Crystal Palace? So, if we don't beat them, because let's face it, a lot of their players, a lot of their best players want out as well. They're a club in absolute free fall from where they started at the start of the season. So if we don't beat them, then it really is time to worry.
Yeah, they're also kind of in the dumps right now, Crystal Palace. They're also a camp and a club and a fan base right now, you would say, that's not really very positive about what's going on. So we should be taking advantage of that as much as we can. And also, I think we're far more desperate for the points than they are. They're definitely more safe from this relegation threat than we are. So we should absolutely be coming out the gates and trying to put that game away. Tartan Spurs, our man up in Scotland, saying, big up, boys, feeling lost and disconnected with this club. I need to get behind the team in a crisis. Just don't see where the points are coming from. Hopefully this Thursday. That's where I hope to see some points coming from. But always good to have you, Tartan Spurs. DJ, AK Anthony, saying, big up, Dave and Jack. I said when I saw we were hiring this Tudor fellow, we are getting relegated, has no knowledge of the Prem and the teams he is facing. We are in big trouble and big time. Should have been a Harry Redknapp.
Yeah, look, I think there was a big, big clamor from the fans to maybe get someone in that knows the Prem and has managed maybe Tottenham in the past and stuff, a bit like what Man United done with Carrick. I think, if you were going to bring in Redknapp, I think he'd be the right guy to bring in as a number 2. But I just think with the age of the guy and stuff like that, I'm not sure he'd be the right guy as a number 1. But I think certainly missed the trick not bringing him in and around the place, just to have him in around the training pitch, reminding these players how good they are and stuff, for sure on that one. But look, I mean, if we don't win this game, Tudor could face the exit.
Hard to know, like, psychologically what these players need, DJ. Did they need a kick up the backside, which we can tell that Tudor is doing right now? Or did they need that guy to, kind of like Dave is saying, sort of put his arm around their shoulders, be able to sort of gas them up as much as they need in order to feel confident again? It's hard to know really what they really need, because do they deserve kind of a bit of a kick up the backside? I say so. But at the same time, it's all about just surviving, right? And what do they need psychologically in order to survive? Big up to you, DJ, of course. Phil Coys is in the house. Ray Marsh is in the house as well. Good to see you. We Are Spurs TV is in the building. Good to see you. We Are Spurs TV, as well as King Hoddle. Big up to you, King Hoddle. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody before we get this show underway. And then we also have Iceman here. hopefully
Big
we
up,
get to
Iceman.
talk to Iceman.
Yeah.
And Sean Hurl saying Redknapp has no day-to-day coaching for a decade. That ship has sailed. That's how I felt about it. I just think he's maybe been gone from the game far too long. But, we can always speculate about what might be better because at the minute we're not seeing tons of improvement, of course, under Igor Tudor. And one of the questions we'll be asking Sean is, did he get the lineup wrong? Is he getting the personnel wrong? Because that's where
Stop
he has
picking
to get the.
Stop
Yeah.
picking man bun. As soon as I seen him come up with 2 top knots on the top of his head, yes, I knew he was going to play shit. He cost us a goal every single game. Stop picking him. Stop playing Gallagher. He's unfit. He's running around like an elephant on the pitch. It's like putting me out there. I run more than him. Stop picking him.
Yeah, he's not helping himself with the team selection. Not helping himself at all. Good to have you, though. Always, Sean. And we'll get the show underway. Like I said, everybody smash the like button as you come in here. Just help support the channel. If you want to stop the show at any point, welcome to do so with your comments, questions, or if you want to support the channel further with a super chat. And then again, if you do want to have your say, come on, join the queue, which is a healthy one. Feel free to become a member of the channel. Let's get the show underway. We're going to start off with Mia.
Good evening, Mia.
Good evening, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. I managed with that introduction. I managed to do the boys' dinner, so that was good timing.
Good time wasting on Dave and I's part as always.
I appreciate that.
Let's start off with Igor Tudor and maybe the team selection. Mia, do you think he got the formation wrong and maybe the team selection wrong? He put Conor Gallagher on as like a right mid. What did you make of all that?
I think that you could probably play a 4-2-2, but I think that playing several players out of position is just not the one. Like, you could have played it where when you're in possession, it's more of a 4-3-1-2. So you like have, say, Xavi a bit more forward, isn't it? Like, so he gets forward a little bit more. And it's not a flat 4, if that makes sense, when we're in possession, to give us a bit more flair to have in the middle to actually, get those balls to those players. So I think that was the problem, Jack. I don't think it was necessarily that formation, because I think that formation can work if you play players in their correct positions. Because playing Arch on the left, I know he's not that great. I know people obviously got a bit of an issue with how much we paid for him, etc. But I felt a bit sorry for the kid, because at the end of the day, he's out of position. He's on his weaker foot. He doesn't want to pass down the channels on his left because he can't. He's not left-footed. So that really basically stumps us on that side of the pitch. So I just think, playing Conor Gallagher, and like I say, it's just not really suitable. You could have definitely played some more players in their positions and probably got better out of them. So maybe play, I don't know, like there's so many different combinations you could play, but you could play like a Xavi, like I say, and an Archie in the middle or whatever, and have like 2 out, obviously, in the wings. But the fact is that he made it more difficult, I think, for himself. I think he made it more difficult for himself by playing players well out of position. You could have played with a 3 at the back and still played with more midfielders and then 2. You could have done that. There's a way of obviously doing that too. So I'm surprised that he went for that. But it is what it is. But I think, he got that a bit wrong.
I do agree with you when it comes to Archie Gray. Like, I do feel sorry for the kid, and that he's sort of being used as Mr. Versatile, to a certain degree. Centre mid, right back, left back, wing backs. It's absolutely madness. But like, why won't the club just give Sal's an opportunity? If you brought him in the middle of January, knowing we were in the middle of a crisis, and you brought him in as a left-sided option, give him his opportunity. Like, the young lad done well when he came on yesterday. With Matisse Tal ahead of him, and I do hope that you would see that selection down the left-hand side against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Onto the first goal yesterday. What do you make of it? I think. I think most Spurs fans would sit there and say, "Look, it's soft," but I think where the frustration actually lies is within the inconsistencies we're seeing from game to game. I think IrishHotspur said it yesterday. The only consistency we're seeing is it always given against Tottenham.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I'm not somebody to say, oh, we could have won that game had we got that goal disallowed. But you just never know with games of football how they might go if goals aren't given, or for us, as in Kolo Muani, if his goal was given. But that is true. Like, it is really inconsistent, and I can't understand for the life of me how one can be given and the other can't, if that's the rules, because the rules are the rules, and I don't understand. And I understand it's somewhat subjective because each referee is going to see it different. But if a push is therefore is the rule, so therefore any push is the rule, right? So I don't really understand how they really come up with that. It's different, because I don't think it is different, especially because Moani had his arm stretched, so the amount he could forcefully push him was a lot less. And let me put this as nice as possible, but that was one of the biggest dives I have seen in a long time. The way that I'll get really frustrated when I say, because the way they dived for that Arsenal game, the way he dived was an absolute joke. It was a joke that he dived that much. So if that's the case, I don't understand how 2 hands on the back and a push like what we saw for our game against Fulham isn't the same reasonable force that has been pushed on his back. If you can deduct that an arm stretched and someone's swan diving like they've just been knocked down by an AK-47, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. But the rules are like, the thing is, the way it goes with the rules is the rules are, if it's Tottenham, no, we're not going to give it to you.
Yep.
We've got, Joe, we've got the least amount of fouls with the most amount of cards, and Arsenal have got the opposite. And I'm not one of these people who puts a tinfoil hat on, but I think that's a little bit suspicious, especially with that game yesterday I watched. I was a bit like 2 arms round them, basically wrestling, grabbing hold of them, and a handball. That's not a penalty anymore, no? Oh, right, cool.
So
that's what we're doing.
Compared to Bentoncour's on Dan Burn, like that's what I found astounding, was they had multiple players bear hugging the Chelsea guys in the box, and then even also handballing it at the same time. And then that's not called back to be a penalty by VAR. Whereas Bentoncour's 50-50 wrestling with Dan Burn, which kind of seemed like a foul on both parts, both Bentoncourt and Dan Burn fouling each other. Apparently VAR deemed that as a penalty. Whereas the other game just yesterday, you're like, that's again, like the inconsistency in every single game is just astounding. You just don't know what you're going to get. It's like a lottery with these referees.
I think when you look at both goals, I think it's a damning indictment that VAR doesn't work whilst it's still being controlled by humans, and it's still humans' interpretation of the rules where they're applying the technology to. I think it's a damning indictment of VAR and that it doesn't work, and to actually sort of just get it out of the game altogether. But I also think, when you look at VAR, it actually creates the stories around the Premier League every single season. It creates the champions. It creates the title runners. It creates the team that has a good one that's usually down the bottom and is up in the top fighting for European football. And it also creates the story of a big club down the bottom. Now, obviously, our players could do a lot better. And I'm not painting everything on VAR and the referees and all. But, when you look at the inconsistency of decisions in Tottenham games all season long, sometimes when you're on the pitch, you do need a bit of luck from the referee. It's a real thing in football when you're on the pitch. Sometimes, you've won a game because of a bit of luck from the referee and stuff like that. But we're consistently on the wrong end of it every single time. And VAR is literally just writing the script every single season for the Premier League at this point.
Joe, what I actually looked up, Joe, last time we got a penalty was in May last year. That's the last time we got a Premier League penalty.
It's insane.
Crazy.
Which I think was the only penalty we got all of last season.
It was, because that Liverpool game, no one wanted to give us now. But I'm going to address what Phil Coy said in the chat. I do agree. We've had some of our players dive, but that dive for that Arsenal scumbag was ridiculous. That was beyond ridiculous.
We got carded for diving, though, at least.
We were given cards for that, and that was Tom Daly-esque. That was. He could have been a diving in the Olympics, mate. The way he dived, ridiculous. And we were booked for ours, so rightfully so, we were booked, because I agree. I don't like diving on our part too, and I'm glad that we got booked for it, because that should stop players doing it. But they don't get booked for it, so they just carry themselves on and do it more. That's the problem, isn't it? If you're going to have one rule for one and one for the other, that's what you end up doing. That's what ends up happening. It's just, I don't want to go on about it, because I don't think we deserve to get that draw. If we got a draw, I would have been happy for a point, but I would have said, bloody hell, that was a bit lucky, because I don't think we deserved it. They should have been about 4 up before half time. Let's be completely honest about it. So I'm not trying to sugarcoat it and say that we deserved it, but these refs from one week to the next, it's just like you said, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, as Forrest said.
Yeah, and it's fair to say Tudor had a damn assessment of the referee as well, saying, basically alluding to that they don't know football. But me, a last sort of question for you this evening. I mean, Tudor did give a damn assessment of the squad after the game, saying they lacked everything, including attack and defending and physical intensity. Described the situation as amazing in a negative sense, and noted that Fulham players were always running and played with more brain than his side. Do you think this is going to damage morale, or do you think, putting them on blast like that, maybe not giving them that protection, you might actually start seeing them perform a little bit better going forward?
Do you know what? It's really difficult to have a balance because you've just come in as a new manager, and Vicario did say he's rather no nonsense and he's very straightforward with what he wants from you. So I don't think it's going to be probably a surprise to the players, but they're all like, obviously, they probably want pandering. Like a lot of them, they want an arm around them. Like I think it's a really tricky balance to sort of have. But he wasn't wrong. Like he wasn't wrong. None of our players were playing. Like they weren't playing the ball moving. They were all just statues, like literally statues. So I understand what he's saying, but I don't know if that will get the best out of the players. It's really hard to know what our players are thinking right now because they're acting like they just don't care. And like they've got a relegation clause, most of them. Do they not realise if you go down and we don't get rid of you, we can make you just sit on that bench for half the price that you're meant to be getting? So back up your bloody ideas, but nothing seems to be getting through to them, Dave. I don't know what will get through to them. I don't know if being harsh, being like a bit more, come on, lads, you can do it, will get it out of them. But something needs to change. Something needs to change. They need to have a long, hard look at themselves and think about the fact that they are the ones who got us in this situation as well. Obviously, managers always take blame, and so do players, in my opinion. And those players need to take a long, hard look at themselves for what they do on that pitch or lack thereof.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because I've listened to lots of sort of debates on either side of the argument today, through Talk Sport and many fan channels, Spurs fan channels and stuff. And, some believe, it's exactly what's needed in terms of, putting them on blast and putting the onus on them, giving them a dose of reality, while others sort of believe, an arm around the shoulder type is what's needed. So it's an interesting one, and I think time will tell.
It's interesting, Dave, because the thing is about it is that we're looking at it from a perspective of a fan, and what we want is probably for them to be put on blast because we're like, damn right, because we're fuming about every single game that they're not bothering to turn up. But as players, we don't know their mindset currently and what's going on behind the scenes and what's going on. So I guess that it's tricky because we don't really know the full picture, if you like, to be able to fully say what will work because we're not there. So we don't know what their mindsets are, and each player is individually different. So it's really hard, like I say, because as people, we're also different, and football players are no different, if you like. I'm not trying to defend the players. I'm just saying, like, as a manager, what do you come in and do? If you're a boss and you come into a situation and the company's going to pot, are you harsh on them? Are you trying to kind of rally them? It's, it's not always easy. It's not an easy job to do, if I'm honest.
No, 100%. And I think time will tell whether Tudor's way is going to work or not over the next, couple more games. So it'll be an interesting one to see. But Mia, what's coming up on the channel?
I've literally done 2 videos today. I did one about the game, and then I did one about the fact that obviously they have got this clause in their contracts, most of them, and it's mostly 50%, which is very interesting. I'm going to try and get in a few more guests to come on and have chats with me, different kind of guests. Like I say, I like doing videos with different people because it's really interesting to get different points of view. So I'm lining up a few more people to come on as well and give their opinions on what's going on at Tottenham at the minute. I don't really want to talk, I do my videos, and then after that, I'll just try not to talk about it too much because it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I'm getting like that myself. I can't handle it when we're this bad, to be brutally honest with you, Mia. But everybody make sure. Go on.
Joe, I don't think even in the 90s it was this bad because we had some really good players in the 90s and early 2000s. We always really had still good players that really, like, no matter what, still fought, even though that we weren't great. Like, I always felt like we had those players to fight our corner, but I just don't see that from these players. And that's what's making things, I think, a lot worse because the players look like they don't even want to fight to stay up out of relegation.
No, 100%. Look, that's Dermot territory, going into 20 years ago and stuff. But I do agree with you. I think back then, obviously, they were on less money, so they had to sort of earn their money to a certain degree. And, there was a better, you would argue, sort of rapport. They respected fans, to a certain degree, which they just don't now. But Mia, thank you for your time this evening and enjoy the
Thank
rest
you for
of your
having me,
evening. Hope you
guys.
get a win
Take
on
good care of
Thursday.
yourselves.
See you,
See
man.
you
Take good
soon.
care. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.
Yeah. But everyone, make sure you get across to Mia's channel. Check out them 2 videos that she has put out there today that she's recorded. And make sure you smash the subscribe button over there and like and hype on her videos if you enjoy them. But look, it's an interesting one about Tudor coming out and sort of calling out them players, Jack. It really is. It'd be interesting to see whether they respond or not in that regard. But look, I suppose we'll keep it moving.
Let's ask Brad about that, maybe just to carry on off of that point. And of course, talk about plenty of other things. But we're going on to Brad next, everybody. Welcome him in.
Good evening, Brad.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello, everyone. Well, yeah, where do I start? It is, you go into these
off of the Mia kind of part there is like, what's best for these players? Being their best friend, putting an arm around their shoulder, or kind of doing what Tudor is doing, which is calling them out.
Players aren't robots at the end of the day. They're all human beings, so they all have to be treated differently in what makes them work. Now, from my perspective as working for a manager, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a sportsman, but if I'm working for a manager, if I get on well with that manager and he treats me well, I work bloody hard for him. But if he pisses me off and treats me poorly and tells me I'm crap, I don't do a thing for him or her. That's how I work. That's me personally. And what I'm saying is that's how players react differently. Some players will react with an arm around them. Some players will react if someone tells them that they're crap and they say, "Right, I'll show you." It's all
that's where I'm different to you. I'd be more like that. You know what I mean? So
and I think with Tudor, he must know he's there for the rest of the season. That's it. He must know that. So he's got carte blanche to really do what he wants. And he's got his way of managing players that have worked with Juventus and the other team I can't remember.
Looking at them 2 games, though, Brad, that we've seen underneath him, it still looks very. Looking at the 2 games we've seen underneath Tudor so far, it still looks very Thomas Frank-esque, if you like. It doesn't look like.
No, I know what you're saying.
Do you still have faith in him? Like, what are the little things that, like, maybe if you see any positives that maybe he can really hammer home on to try and sort of win a few games? Is there anything at all?
I think he has to pick a team with round pegs in round holes, because I looked at that team yesterday and I thought, what the hell am I looking at? Gallagher is a right wing back.
Yeah,
Gallagher is a right wing back. Porro as part of the back 3. That worked under Terry Venables' England in 1996. He had a back 3, which was Tony Adams, Stuart Pearce, and Gary Neville were 2 very, very good fullbacks, and he had McManaman and Darren Anderson as the wing backs. It worked then. It doesn't work with Tottenham. You can't say that Conor Gallagher, by any stretch of the imagination, is a wing back. And he's got Archie Gray on the left as well, who. I mean, I'm a really big fan of Archie Gray. I really am. But he'll be playing in goal before we know it. He just they just put him anywhere that they can sort of that they need him. And he as you say, he's left-footed. We did have no balance in that team yesterday. You had Xavi out on the left. Now Xavi, his best games for Tottenham has been in the centre behind the strikers. Where he can have a bit of influence, where he can go either way and put through balls, that sort of thing. So we didn't have any balance, and yet you've got Sousa on the bench, who I think has looked okay in his 2 games he's on. So
why do you think we're so hesitant to give someone like him an opportunity? Because when you look at Bournemouth, they've given Rayan his opportunity. He's come in, he's slotted in well. He's providing for them. Why are we hesitant?
I don't know. I mean, obviously Tudor doesn't know the players. He's got to know the players in a very short amount of time. So he's got to really do what
he's play left foot on the left side though. I
think as far as balance goes, you've got to have the left foot on the left and the right on the right. And I'm hoping amongst hopes that when we play against Palace, we have a back. I don't think he's going to go away from the back 3, but we have a back 3. Danso probably wasn't fully fit. And the only reason, let's face it, the only reason he brought him on at the end was for a long throw. That was the only reason. But if Danso is fit, I'd like to see him and Van der Vel and Ragusan, because I mean they're the only three we've got at the moment. And I'd like to have Porro on the right hand side and Sousa on the left, give it a bit of balance. Play them up, play them far forward. And then you have someone like Archie Gray in the midfield with Paulinho. And then you might have, say, Xavi in there, or even, Marcus Tell. And I think after they came on, I mean, say what you like about Marcus Tell, but he does try and make things happen.
Yep.
He may not be the best player in the whole world, but he comes on and he tries to make things happen.
What about Richarlison, Brad? Do you think he should start again against Palace?
Yeah,
he came off the bench, really scored against Arsenal, scored there the weekend. I
think someone said it in the comments, actually. Now's not the time for wonderful, beautiful football. Now's the time for people that are going to fight and a bit of shit. And that's what Richarlison does when he comes on. He
that's
just
true.
has a bit of shithousery and just gets stuck in and he has a knack at the moment of scoring goals. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he literally kept Everton up a few seasons ago by scoring a load of goals in the end of the season. So yeah, for me, Richarlison starts on Thursday night. Tell starts on Thursday night. I've probably got about 12 players actually, so one of them will have to miss out. Solanke, I think Solanke had a poor game, but he's looked okay since he's come in. He just had a poor game. But yeah, I think we need to.
What about Dragusin?
Well, we haven't got a choice at the moment. I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be, but at the moment, we've got no choice but to play him because the only other thing is Paulinho, I don't think works, and Byfield, who I think must be injured at the moment, and maybe it is, for a young lad to come in this sort of stage of the season. But yeah, at the moment, until Romero is back playing, which I think is a Liverpool game, I think Dragusin has to start just because, need be,
Would you be happy to cash in on him come the summer?
I think it depends on if we bring back Viskovic, if we go in for another defender, maybe. I think if you can replace him with a better player, then yeah. But there's no point in replacing him with a player who's exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, this is that's spot on. That's what I think. Yeah. And the funny thing is people in the comments are talking about this not selling lots of tickets on for sale. Well, I had the reverse attitude today. I actually had my ticket for sale because when I put it on for sale, I thought, Palace midweek, be nothing on that game, be a boring game. Now it is a very, very big game, incredibly big game. We've got West Ham playing at Fulham on Wednesday. We've got Forest playing at Man City on Wednesday. So if all goes to form, they're losing those two games. So that's why we've got to beat Palace because that'll put 7 points plus goal difference or whatever, and that becomes as the games go on, that becomes a more difficult gap to catch up on because our next three games are Atletico Madrid, Liverpool away, Atletico Madrid. So we've got three really tough games coming up. So we've got to put the points on the board against Palace, particularly if and also the thing about Palace is that can bring them back into the equation for relegation. I don't know if you saw the guys from We Are Tottenham TV did a thing where they predicted the results of the last 11 games of the season, and they had Palace being relegated. So so everyone's in the mix at the moment. So I
just think one win against Palace will give us that bit of breathing space.
This is it. Yeah, it gives us breathing space. It will give the players a little more confidence. Hey, we can win. Because at the moment,
calm down a little.
Yeah, at the moment they go into the games, they go 1-0 down, and it's like, it's all the same. It's going to happen. That's what the fans. I mean, let's face it, the fans think that as well. 1-0 down. Oh, here we go again. Because I go towards every game thinking, maybe this might be the game, and then 1-0 down in 7 minutes. You think, here we go. And I'll tell you what has to happen on Thursday night, or we need to get a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Early on. So in the first half, you get a couple of shots that go in, or a referee's decision.
One positive.
Or a ref decision be nice.
Just thinking about it, Brad, that's actually one positive. I do think we looked a little better going forward yesterday at times. We looked a little bit more threatening.
At the end, I think in the second half, I think
even in the first half, there was a couple of good moves, just wrong decision making, but we did look a bit more threatening, I would say.
Well, that's where I think Xavi has to improve. I think Xavi has to get rid of the ball quicker. He does a lot of good stuff.
I was saying to Jack yesterday, I asked the question at the end of the watch long, Brad, did we look better without Xavi on the football pitch when he came?
I think he had a poor game, but I don't think playing on the left is where he should be playing. Yeah, maybe he might have been. Maybe if he'd have been brought inside when Richarlison came on, maybe it might have worked. Because I think against can't remember the game it was. Maybe Villa in the cup. Maybe I think he came inside and they brought a couple of strikers on and it looked a lot better. But yeah, I think he's a decent player. We need a bit of creativity. We need a lot of fight, obviously. So if you got your Paulinho and your Gray and your two wing backs in there in that midfield, you got your fight there, and you got the one player that can be a game changer. I think you need something like that. But having said that, Tell I think tries to make things happen. So the team I would pick is I've got 12 players in it at the moment. So yeah. So there's I want to see Solanke and Richarlison up front because we got to go for it. And I think Palace is one of Palace's top players is missing the game, isn't it? I think is it Lacroix?
Yeah, Lacroix got a red card.
Yeah, so he's missing. So we've got to take advantage of this, and that's the reason I decided that I'm not. I've taken my ticket off of ticket sales. I'm going now because I thought the one game we really need the fans behind them is on Thursday night.
Yeah,
obviously the fans will be behind them against Arsenal. They always will be in that early time. But for Palace, this is a really important game. This is probably one of the most important games for the club for a long time. Because if we get relegated, that is disaster. Absolute disaster. You will have sponsorship leaving. You'll have players leaving. You'll have fans leaving. And if we want to get rid of Enoch, they're not going to be selling if we get relegated because the price will plummet of the club, the value of the club. So we've got to stay up and start by beating Palace. And let's face it, we've still got the points on the board. So if we can turn it around. Then we can still do it. And the VAR decision about the push and that, I think what's happened here is that VAR have got themselves into a corner because they will go with the referee's decision. That's what their philosophy is. That if the referee makes an on-field decision, it has to be incredibly bad for them to overturn it. And I think, although I agree, you've got to draw the line somewhere. It's the two incidents which we're talking about. They're either two pushes or they're not pushes. You can't have one being a push and one not being a push. Whether it's the Tottenham Arsenal game or the Fulham, they've got to be the same decision.
It's got to be consistency.
Exactly.
And I did hear that argument. Yeah.
We unfortunately we fell into that thing where they go with the referee, and it just so happens that the referee gave the push. Didn't give the push for the Fulham goal, but the referee gave the push for the Tottenham goal last week. And VAR comes in, and unless they, and I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm just saying this is how they look at it. Unless they can find a reason where that referee is very, very wrong, then they'll go with the referee. Which, to be fair, I don't mind that in retrospect. I don't mind that philosophy of going with the referee.
If they're going with the referee, what's the point of having VAR?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Big rabbit hole,
Go back to the way it was then before.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. I would only have VAR for goal line decisions. That's the only reason. We had anyway. That's the only reason I would get rid of VAR because I think it's just basically it's made the football. You don't know where you are anymore now. You can't really celebrate a goal because they're going to be looking at it. They're going to be trying to find ways to disallow it, but.
They're just killing the passion in the stands.
I just think we at the moment with the VAR and with the referees, it's like they're kicking a man when he's down, and that's we can play bad, and we are been playing bad, but I don't want the referees having to go as well. Come on, guys.
Seriously.
Can anyone? Sorry, the last thing. Can anyone in the chat on you guys? Can you remember the last time we had a VAR decision that was really controversial go our way? I think it was that actual Liverpool game where the VAR went our way because they got what the referee had done wrong, didn't they? They thought the referee gave one decision, it's another one. We got the goal and we won the game. But I think we've been paying for that moment ever since because I can't think of a controversial decision that's gone our way since then.
I've been saying that for weeks, Brad. You're absolutely spot on. And I actually agree with Brad's explanation there. So also, by the way, everybody, if you see this guy, buy him a pint because we're going to need him to be in full voice for us on Thursday representing.
Well, I've booked the Friday off, so and I'll be getting to the Tottenham around about 4:30. So I'll be in good voice, definitely.
All right. Thank you, Brad, for coming on. Class call as always. You're absolute pro. And we really need you on Thursday in full voice. So thank you so much, Brad.
Thanks,
for
guys.
coming
Have
on.
a good show.
Yeah.
Have a good evening,
Have a
Brad.
good evening, man.
Come on,
See
you
ya.
Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Do you know what? Fair play to Brad for still mustering up the energy and that, and you know, and that to be able to
Yeah, we
still
need
go
him.
to the stadium and all. I think, like, don't get me wrong. If I was a Brad situation, I'd probably still go reluctantly anyway. But it'll be hard to really muster up that energy and that excitement for it. So fair play to
Yeah.
him, and hopefully, you know, those who are going can still, you know, muster it up.
Just quickly though, I do actually agree with his theory in that yes, VAR is also inconsistent, but it also, I think it's so bad this season in that the referees who make the original call, the first call, have been so inconsistent that then it's difficult for VAR to intervene because one week it was a different call, the next week it's all of a sudden, you know, a different, it's just so inconsistent from the actual referees on the field. They're doing such a terrible job themselves that it's kind of difficult if VAR's philosophy is to not basically intervene unless it's a blatantly, obviously bad call. But then the calls have been so inconsistent in the first place. I kind of feel like it's more actually on the officials on the pitch that are just so incompetent and so terrible. It starts with them, and then VAR almost makes it worse.
But the problem we've got, though, is VAR gets involved when they want to anyway. You know, and go, oh, you've missed this, you know, you should look at this and stuff like that. And what you're seeing is referees hiding behind VAR if they get it wrong, and VAR then hiding behind referees if they get it wrong. Oh, well, we're just going what the referee done on the football pitch. Okay, then. So if we're going back to that, what's the need for VAR? Get rid of it.
No,
you know, it's if you're going back to that, then there's no need for it.
No, I agree. Absolutely agree. Let's keep this moving. Great call as always from Brad. Love listening to him. He's an absolute pro and how he does it. And we're going to go on to another absolute regular and someone that we all definitely look forward to hearing from, Jerome.
Good evening, Jerome.
Evening, lads. How are you?
Disappointed.
Hanging in there.
To be honest. Yeah. Very, very disappointed after yesterday's game.
I know. Oh, well, what's there to say? But there's two things I wanted to, because one, I was talking about when's the last time we had a penalty.
Oh, sorry, Jerome. Can I just stop you for 1 minute? Sorry, I absolutely forgot to take these here, and I just don't want to let it go any longer. Ryan Trestane, big up, Ryan. Good to see you, sir. Hopefully you're keeping well. I know you had a bit of bad news during the week, but I hopefully your head is up, my man. He says, Davo, we don't have the players. Lewis needs to go. Yeah, look, there's no doubt that. Look, Lewis, Enoch, whatever they want to come up with. It used to be Tavistock before that. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. They have no ambition. The fact that they've protected themselves from relegation, you know, by putting 50% clauses in there, but yet you've had players walking away going, well, we don't get incentives in our contracts for winning and stuff like that. It's absolutely madness. They all need to go, my man. And you would argue, you know, the reason why they put them contracts in there is because a lot of the players they've been signing over recent years in terms of teenagers and stuff like that, and championship level players and players used to fight in relegation. Well, here we are. You know, and then we've also got Faz Radfar says, are we really going to be relegated? Please say no. Well, Faz, I'm looking at the league table. I'm hoping that there's some winnable games still left in there. You know, you're looking at Palace Thursday. I think that's absolutely huge. You're looking at maybe could we get something against Everton, Leeds. I think we've got Forest at home after the Champions League ties against Atletico is out the way. We don't pick up any points in these next two games against Forest and Palace. We are 100% going down. It's clear then that it just seems like everyone at the club have just lost the will to fight. The players, the boards, the people in charge of transfer windows, they gave up in the January transfer window. Even Tudor looks like he's on the verge of almost doing a contest style. I'm not attaching myself to bullshit. I'm out. You know, one bad performance against Palace Thursday night, you can literally see that guy explode in the press conference.
Yeah.
First game, he came out, he blamed the club and the ambition. Second game, he's called out the players. If we don't beat Palace Thursday night, I wouldn't be surprised to see him absolutely implode in the press conference. Big up, Faz. Really appreciate the support. Thank you, Jerome. Really appreciate you for letting me
that's all right,
get in there, my man, because I did forget about them. Very bad of me. But anyway, Jerome, where were we?
Yeah, no, look, again, in terms of what we were saying previously, like Hamia was saying, we didn't have a penalty for such a long time. This shows really, really how bad we've been attacking wise for such a long time. Because if we haven't had a penalty shot for such a long time, this shows we haven't even been in this, like we haven't even pressed once since the start of the league. This shows how bad it is, man. We really have been bad from the start. And we really need to be where we are because it's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. But the second thing is, Brad was saying, it's when we are like, if you want to look at work, you shouldn't be blasting somebody or something like that because you don't want to work with. They will not to perform and things like that. Let me tell you exactly something. This is how I do things. All right. For where I work and where I do things is where when my team doesn't perform or give me something that's ridiculous, like give me a report that's not up to standard and the business is failing, I'm telling you already, the whole team is blasted. I'm not looking at my finance manager. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm looking at the whole team and they all get blasted for this. And the way Tudor did it is what we should be doing. It shouldn't be looking at any player, shouldn't be looking at anybody. The whole of the team should be blasted because you're not performing. You're not performing. We are going down. Everything is not working. And the whole thing is not right. It's not the time to be saying, I'm putting my arm around you. I'm saying, oh, it's okay. No, it's failing. The whole thing is failing. It's time to be looking at reality and saying, you guys are shit. You guys are not playing up to your standard. I know you can play better. Play better. That's what it should be. Not going to be, oh, I know, I understand.
I guess where the dangers come in, though, Jerome, is the confidence is already on the floor with a lot of these players. The morale is already on the floor. And I guess, you sort of risk really sort of putting your foot on it, don't you, right? Really muddying the waters a bit more by doing that. But I suppose, to your point, Thomas Frank didn't exactly put the players on blast. He protected them. And look what happened there. So it'd be interesting to see how this approach of Tudor actually goes in that regard. He basically just criticized everyone. Can't defend, can't attack, can't run. It's absolutely insane. And I mean, you need
at the end of the
relegation, so it's concerning.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. But at the end of the day, those players, this is your bread and butter. As professionals, as professional football players, as your pride as a professional football player, this is where you should be saying, I'm up to the challenge. I need to perform. We need to do better than this. Putting your head down. And again, as soon as a decision goes against them, they put their head down, they stop moving, and then the second outcome comes in. It's like, this is not acceptable. Not acceptable. As your pride as a football player, as a professional athlete, you should be doing better than this. You can't. And like to be like Conor Gallagher, seriously, man, 200K a week. Are you really worth that money right now? Are you really worth to be getting that salary right now?
How can you have the least fit player on 200 grand a week? What message is that sending out to anybody else within the football club? It's like when we had Dembele here on huge wages. You know what I mean? Unfit and he's on higher than everybody else. I mean, it's just not good.
That's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Like, seriously, every single time he had the ball, pass it back, can't do anything, can't run, can't do nothing, man. He's so unfit. And for some reason, we're still bringing in and we give him 200K a week. We are a joke. We are an absolute joke. I can't believe we have a player that unfit, but we still keep playing him. It's like, I understand why they said we can't defend, we can't run, we can't pass, we can't attack. Because they are players. We are literally playing with 8 men. We are playing with 8 men in this game.
Is that not his fault?
At some point, I would say that's his fault. He should have played Sousa, should have brought Sousa. I understand Danso is not fit yet, but still, could have given him like the first half and let him play, and then after that, bring Dragosine, whatever, just to secure the game or something like that, even though Dragosine, Jesus, man, 3 games, 3 errors, 3 goals, Jesus Christ, man. But to be honest, it's like players like this, we can't start them. Like, I want to see Sousa start against Palace. I want to see Danso instead of Dragosine. And then I want to see Tail start. Because at least the kid gives us something, man. Seriously. Yeah. It's like, what's the point? We have like he runs, he puts pressure. He's not the best player in the world, but he's going to put pressure. He's going to do something. Like, come on, man. That first half, we literally did not do anything. Nothing at all. 0 shot on target. Nothing. This is ridiculous, man. How bad can we be to be like? To be honest with you, was Fulham looking good? Fulham did not look great at all. This is not the best team in the world we played, but we made them look so good by us unwilling to run, unwilling to make like passes, like 5-yard passes, we would miss every single time. The same thing. God. And the next thing about Tudor is like, yeah, you bring Danso in. What's his purpose? Long throws. What is this shit about long throws now? What have we come to? Is like every manager is going to work on long throws? What is this for?
Do you know what, though, Joe? I do get what you're saying in terms of, like, you know, what happened today is being able to get the ball back in play and work us crossing position. But with how bad we are, I would rather it just go into the box. At least I'm seeing the ball in and around their penalty area. I don't trust any of our players to be able to get it down, play it, and work across. Like, it's sometimes the most basic things they fail to execute, and it drives me absolutely insane. So I do get the frustration, but I'm at the point now they're that bad. Just fuck it in there. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I know, but no one's making runs, man. It's like there's no one's making runs. Solanke. Has he done any runs? He's a striker. Have you done any goddamn runs in that first half?
Oh, yes.
I'm like, I haven't seen. Yeah.
I think it was Simmons running with the ball and you're screaming at him, or was it Richarlison? One of them, get on the overlap, and he just runs in his way. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, nah, it's come to a point where it's so bad, man. It's so bad. But I understand his point where it's no time to be like playing Mr. Nice Guy. It's not the time for that. It's time to put them on blast. It's time to tell them, wake the F up, and it's time for you to start working, because it's time to get it right now. We are in a serious trouble. If we do not win against Palace, seriously, we are going down. We are going down if we don't win against Palace. And to be honest,
they're a team that can fight at the minute as well. So, I mean, if we don't win there, it's bad. Let's take Craig Fenner's super chat here, Jerome. He says, how I feel, 70% of the players want out. All had false promises from Enoch. They'll soon get over it when they leave, and they're paid back to Enoch, teaching them a lesson. I presume he's meaning if we get relegated, then this is them sort of, you know, to a degree, teaching them a lesson for all the fake promises and stuff. And, you know, to Craig's point, how many players have left saying that they've been lied to, you know, in terms of ambition and, you know, players being brought in to help, and even managers to a large degree. And how many times have you heard managers since Pochettino come out and say, well, we didn't get what we needed in the transfer windows and stuff like that? Do you think there is a part of that in the dressing room? Because I certainly think when you look at Romero's statement as captain, you know, where he sort of blasted the board and chose to put it out after the transfer window closed about needing help and stuff like that, he's not doing that on his own. He's not a lone wolf there. You can guarantee that's sort of a representation of how the dressing room largely feel. And I've sort of said this myself. And players, they don't like the fans. You see that. They argue with us all the time. But they certainly they're certainly not going to fight for this ownership. Like, the ownership can come down and say, lads, we'll put 50 million on the table. You can divide between yourselves if you keep us up. You're going to go anyway. Just leave the club and get that anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not fighting for you. You've lied to us and stuff. You've ruined 3-4 years of my career. So do you think Nick Craig Fenner has a point here?
Look, the thing is, this is the second season that this team's been depleted. Second season, this team has been crying out for help. Second season we let them down. What do you think anybody would do here? Would be like, yeah, I get it, but at some point, those players would be like, what's the point? What is the point now? This is the second time they let us down. We need help. We can't do this on our own. We need help, and they let us down again. What is the point, man? There's no point for them as well. I understand them as well, why they get frustrated and why they don't leave. Why they are in a feeling that the better thing to do is just leave a fucking club and just go anyway. Even though if we survive, who's to say most of them are not going to leave, because they will not stay for this again. They will not stay for this nonsense and saying if we go in this injury crisis again, we are going to be let down by the club and everybody's going to be pointing fingers at us. But again, it's like, no. But everything is, to me, I don't have an issue with the Lewis family. My issue with them is right now is the recruitment from the board to bring Vinay, to bring Lange, and then to bring all of those nonsense that they brought before in terms of recruitment. If they were doing their homework properly and brought proper footballing people, we would not have been in this mess for a long time ago. I said this 7 years ago. The appointment of Jose Mourinho was the death of Tottenham. And we slowly started dying up to the point where we are now.
Well, I think they really killed us allowing Frank to go on for as long as he did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really killed us.
They did. Yeah. It did really kill us. Again, they reset the whole thing. They did not get from their mistake last time from Nuno. And again, they go through the same thing again. But it's Tottenham for you. Yeah.
So true. So true on that one, actually. You know, you should have learned the first time around with Nuno, you know, how catastrophically this can go wrong, which should have been even more warning signs for them to pull the trigger earlier. Even if they gambled and give them the chance, there's only so much rope you can give it, knowing how you've experienced it before with a Kane and Son, by the way. You know, I mean, it's absolutely madness. But Jerome, really appreciate your time this evening, my man. Really frustrating yesterday. And look, hopefully we have something small to cheer about Thursday night.
Yeah. Hopefully our first win of 2026. Come on, boys. Don't let us down.
I can't believe we're in March and we're asking.
Yeah, man.
Get in.
That will be my trophy for the year. Thanks,
that'll be a trophy for sure. I'm not desperate. All righty, Jerome.
All right.
Appreciate you.
See you, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, bye.
Have a good one.
Really appreciate it, Jerome. Really good call in. And then we've also got Simon Coley in the house. Is this the depression group of or Spurs chat? Whatever way you want it to be brutally honest with you. I know people may tune in looking for, you know, optimism and positives and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, we're not here to rewrite the narrative around Tottenham. We react to what's going on. And right now, 2 wins in our last 20 games of Premier League football is nowhere near good enough. And this is where we are at, you know, sort of depressing levels. And, you know, I can't fake it, unfortunately.
We're not, I mean, it's a fan show as well. We're not telling them how to feel. They're coming on to, if anything, you know, give themselves some therapy by trying to just chat about Spurs with, you know, similar like-minded people or just at least, you know, friends of this community, right? So that's what's pretty much all about, Simon. It's Dave and I, you know, to the best of our ability, really try not to steer them one way or another. You know, it's just about them sort of letting their feelings out.
Well, I'm not here to influence Spurs fans either. I'm here to just sort of share my opinion as well. So, and then he also says a win on Thursday, all the world is good again. Lord, absolutely, you win. 7 points clear then if West Ham don't pick up a result this week, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, we can sort of breathe a little bit. But, you know, until we get that victory, you know, right now, no one knows where the next one's coming from. So we just badly need that notch on the belt. And then all of a sudden we'll believe we can beat Liverpool then heading into the next Premier League game or beat Atletico then next Tuesday night, you know. So it's all we need, Simon. It is all we need. And Kieran says, selling Kane a few days before the start of the season tells you everything about this club. It was also the demise of this football club, Kieran. I tried saying at the time, but, you know, everyone else thought it was a good idea. Anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's bring on, I think it's Chris next, and then we have Ricky. So if there's anybody else that wants to sort of jump on, now's your time. If not, we will call it after Ricky. Let's bring on Chris. Chris, good evening, sir. How are you? How are you after yesterday's game? What's your thoughts?
Resigned. Can I just go back to Kerno's comment about why the one before when he's saying, is this a Spurs chat show or is it depression? Well, what does he expect us to do? Dancing with bells that we lost about 20 games in a row. We haven't won in 2026. Does he expect us fans to be happy? Obviously not.
I'm not sure he's having a go. I know if it's Simon Coley, I think it is. You know, he does pop in all the time, you know, and stuff like that. So
but
I'm not sure he's having a go. Maybe he's trying to be funny. I'm not sure, Chris. Maybe
Dave, to be honest with you, Dave, to be honest with you, yeah, I'm withdrawn to the fact that we lose every game now, so I'm not too fussed about that. Yesterday showed, Dragusin is worse than Dyer, and that takes me a lot to say that.
Really?
After all the shit I gave Dyer, Dragusin is no better. Dragusin is absolute awful. Has no reading of the ball, has no passing ability. Can't. Do you know what?
He's rusty though, Chris. He's had a long time out. Do you not think he's rusty?
Rusty. He was rusty when he joined us, and he's still rusty now. Him and his agent, as far as I'm concerned, they can sling the hook. Do you know what? I hope Igor Tudor blasts the whole damn team. I hope he does. The problem is with our team here, David, yeah? They've been mollycoddled too much, yeah, and got away with too much shit. It's about time they got called out for what they are. Yes, they hiding during the game. Hiding. Now, you're fighting for your lives. What are you hiding for?
Do you understand the dangers of it, though, Chris?
So,
you know, when a team's confidence is already low and morale is already low, sometimes it's like, you know, they say kicking a man when he's down, you know, to a certain degree.
Dave, the kick gloves have to come off because the players thinking they can get away with how they're playing. I'm sorry, you can't. Now is not the time to be acting like a spoiled little brat. Now it's time to start getting your ass in gear and start performing. That's what you're paid to do. Now do it.
What do you make of the fitness?
No, seriously, Dave. Dave, do you know they've been allowed to get away with murder under soft managers? You know, like Thomas Frank. They didn't say boo 12 goals to them, and to a certain extent, put his arm around those players. Oh, yeah, they're there. It's all right. We lost 17 games, 22 games. They're there. It's okay. No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay to lose 10 games in a row and have 0 wins. No, it's not okay. No, it's definitely not okay. And these managers have been too soft with some of these players. The ones who think they can have the right to have the supporters. Nah, Dave, see, the problem is, for me, now, if the players earn the respect, they will get that damn respect. At the moment, they're disrespecting the shirt week in, week out.
Agreed.
Week in, week out, they've disrespected the Tottenham badge. We used to play with courage and fight. We play with nothing now.
Is there any player in that dressing room you think has to fight in them? I know some people in the chat here are saying Richarlison. I also heard talks about
Richarlison. Do you know, Dave, the only 2 players I see make an effort yesterday were the 2 subs that come on, was Tell and Richarlison. The rest of them hit for the majority of that game.
Surely they have to start Thursday then, right? If they're the 2 that are really showing the fight,
you
have to start.
Yeah, they have to. Mawani, ship him back to Paris. Ship him gone. Go, please. Just take him back. Take Radwy with you when you're his agent. Take them both. Let him go. Now, Solanke, I don't know. I can't. You know, I can't even go into Solanke at the moment because he was trying. He was trying, but nothing else.
Just a couple of comments here for you, and this is twice it's sort of come up now where Tottenham players were seen laughing laughing and joking around with Fulham players sort of in the tunnel before the game and after the game and stuff like that. How are you feeling about that? I'm only bringing it up because a couple of times it's been brought up here today in the comments.
Oh, Dave, don't. You're going to get me going, mate. You're going to get me going with these comments. See, now, the problem is, Dave, if that's the case, they don't deserve to be wearing our shirt either. They can fuck off in all, excuse my language. They can fuck off in all. Because they're ruining it. They're ruining our club. Yeah. They're making us look stupid.
Igor has every right to call them out too, if that's what they're doing, before the game as well and after the game. Like they can't, if they're behaving like that, they don't deserve to have an arm around their shoulders. Type of thing.
It doesn't look good to the fans that
it doesn't.
Show a fight to.
I mean, losing isn't funny. Last time I checked, being in a relegation battle isn't funny.
It's definitely not funny.
There's nothing.
I'm not laughing. I'm not enjoying myself.
Yeah, fans are laughing and enjoying it. So why do the players just somehow think that
Jack, the thing is, they're getting their $200,000 a week, or however much they want. They don't give a toss about the club afterwards. They can move on to the next club. It doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them. It does affect the supporters that have supported Tottenham 40 years plus, or 20 years, or 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying? It does affect them, but it don't affect those players.
And also, as well, Dave said Basuma. I didn't see these quotes, but Basuma saying that we don't deserve to be in the position that we are. And it's we do. How about you then call out your teammates then if they're laughing before the game and after the game? That's the reason you are where you are, where apparently this isn't serious enough for you.
Yes, we do belong to where we are at the moment because they haven't put the performances to warrant anything else.
Yeah, especially him. He's been missing half the season because he can't get his act together. Exactly.
He's too busy with his balloons to care about the club. But let's forget about that. Yeah, let's talk about the shitty refereeing decisions that have gone against us 90% of the season. Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
So the PGMO think one push is a foul, one push is not. if I'm not mistaken, ain't a push.
Do you think the one was a foul on Radu Dragic, or are you more upset with just the inconsistency?
It's both of them, in my eyes, were soft fouls. Both of them were soft fouls. And if that's the case, both should not get given.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But for one referee to come out a week ago saying, I saw 2 hands on the back, that's a foul. So what happened yesterday when 2 hands were on Dragson's back then? Is that not 2 hands?
Yeah.
But then I hear, well, it's different because the Arsenal player's feet were on the ground. Dragson was in the air when he got pushed, so it doesn't make it. So it makes a difference.
Do it's also crazy, Chris. I'm just going to verify this because I could be spreading misinformation. Someone said that the VAR referee was Peter Banks for the Fulham game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong because I saw a tweet about that. But if that also is the case, then that's incredible. And on Sky Sports, he's saying, I saw 2 hands in the back. That's a stone cold foul for me. No debate around it. And then the next game,
he's agreed
something like that, and he's not intervening at all.
Yeah, he's agreed that with the referee. See, if that's the case, what is VAR there for? As Dave said, what's VAR actually there for to intervene for? There's no need for them to be there, is there? If they can't get the decisions right, they shouldn't be in the VAR box. And also, if the referee can't make a judgment call on his own, there's seriously wrong with his referee.
Yeah.
I think it was actually Craig Pawson in the VAR.
Oh, thank God. I would have lost my mind because I saw that on Twitter and I didn't want to believe it.
See, Dave, that's the thing here. But Dave, I was listening to what you were saying earlier, and I totally agree with you. What's the point in VAR being there? What's the point if they can't make the right decision? What's the point of them being in the VAR themselves?
Well, it's just I just get confused with it all now because it was brought in to sort of bring in consistency in terms of decision making on the pitch,
but it hasn't.
And it was brought in to sort of make decisions right, but it's still based off the people and their interpretation of the rule book and what they see as a foul, what's not. But also, you're now seeing referees going, well, VAR got involved, so I had to go along with what VAR were telling me to do. And then, likewise, VAR, when they don't want to make a decision, they're going, oh, well, we're going with the referees. And it's like, well, if you're going with the referees, then your jobs are obsolete then. Fuck off.
Well, Dave, the interpretation I got yesterday when I was watching the Fulham game yesterday was some of the commentators were saying that Gabriel's foul was a foul because he was on the ground when he was pushed. Yeah, the one for Dragson wasn't a foul because he was in the air when he got pushed, so it's not a foul. He was challenging for the ball, basically. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. So either one's a foul, or both's a foul, or both are goals. What's it going to be? But yeah, again, it's because it's Tottenham. It will go against us. It has gone most of the season.
Yeah. I have a serious question for you now here, though, Chris. Do you know when Vicario went to take that goal kick or that free kick and ended up just ballooning it into the stands?
Oh my God!
Do you think he was trying to go for goal?
Try to go. I thought,
Dave, I think every time he went to go along, he put it into the stands.
Dave, we need Vicario gone. He's just another shouter and moaner who's a pile of shit. Honestly, all he does is shout, bitch, and moan at the players, but he's no better than the rest of them. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Majority of the goals he's conceded this season have been of his own doing.
Yeah.
No, and yesterday, him ballooning in the sky, and I just looked at it, I was like, I swear there used to be one player called Eric Dyer who used to do that daily.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's Radu Dragic and Vicario are competing for the Moon Boots title.
Oh, Dragic, boy, just get him on the plane to Real Madrid. He wants to go to Real Madrid. Get him on the plane with Real Madrid with his agent. Just please, just go.
There's actually a funny clip I remember from you years ago that we posted, Chris, where he was rumored, his agent was trying to push him to Real Madrid.
To Real Madrid,
you said the only reason he'd be in Madrid is if he's on vacation.
Yeah. Well, I think, Dave, do you know what, Jack? You know what? I wouldn't even let him go on vacation in Madrid. I'll send him on EasyJet, the cheapest airline possible, and not give him a hotel.
Yeah.
Sleep on the streets.
Well, they actually play football in Spain, which Radu Dragic does not. They shouldn't even allow him in the country, if you ask me.
Yeah,
especially if he's disguised as a footballer.
I swear that I'm just resigned to the fact that when I watch our games now, I'm like, I don't expect any different. I don't expect any excitement because they don't provide any.
Yeah.
And I'm just like watching the game like, why do I expect any different? Why do I expect us to win? Why do I expect us to put a fight in? Why do I expect it? Because I full well know after 90 minutes, I'm like, I knew that was going to happen. No fight, no spark. Probably try for about 10, 15 minutes, and that'll be the lot.
Do you know what baffles me, though? You hear the same jingle going into every game. We need you, the fans. We watch every game. We're watching every... Don't worry about us. We are watching. You know, people are turning up to the stadium every game. We'll just cut it. Like, the fans are there. It's all just bullshit. Just fucking internally grab some fucking energy from somewhere. Grab your cojones and fucking face the battle head on, for fuck's sake.
Dave, their energy's too busy focused shouting at the fans saying that we're out of order for booing them. Well, if you didn't play shit and didn't give us a reason to boo, we wouldn't boo, would we?
The fans were well behind them too after they scored that goal. I mean, they were loud as well, the away fans. So they clearly,
but Jack,
if you give them if you give them just a crumb of something decent, the fans will absolutely get behind them.
Jack, I've been in the away end when we was up at Newcastle, and I'll tell you what, the atmosphere in the away end is always electric because they will back the team no matter. If you put an effort in, they'll back the team. But it just seems like for me, the players don't care, the hierarchy don't care. And you know what? People laughed at me when I said back in November we could probably get relegated. And people go, no, we're too good for that. Are we? Are we really?
Yeah.
Are we really now?
Yeah.
So
Well,
all those ones who doubted me, apologies, let us in the post, please.
Any final words, Chris, before we let you go?
Pray for a miracle for fucking Thursday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just say all your prayers and get on your knees and beg for a miracle because I think we're going to need it. Because if we lose to Palace on Thursday, say au revoir to the Premier League and say hello to the Championship.
I actually might start buying some magic crystals, considering we're playing Crystal Palace, just to make sure that we can guarantee the result.
Jack, I wouldn't do that, man, because you might give Crystal Palace the first win in about 20 games.
Yeah, maybe the other way around. Destroy any of the crystals, that are near me. But thanks, Chris.
Well, we
thanks
could really
for coming on as always.
Shutting down again for a year or two, just to sort of, so we don't get relegated. But anyway, Chris, see you again soon, my man. Thank you for your time and for calling in this evening.
Yeah, before I forget, smash a like and get your super chats into these lads.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks
very,
for your support, by the way. Have a good one, man.
Have a good evening, my man. Bye-bye.
Just, I do want to quickly share this just because it's only 30 seconds long. I was able to find it. This is Chris just like 2 years ago on Routed Jack.
I really don't care how this play 2 or 29. At the end of the day, his agent beat him up so bloody much, yeah? But I want to see what this agent has been talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he's like, he can go to Real Madrid and get in the first team when he get even in their C team. Well, their D team. You asked about that. You said about that joke I made about Dragosin, yeah? Let me tell you one thing. Yeah, Ravi Dragosin's agent wants to keep starting him out to Real Madrid, yeah? Let me put this straight to you now. The only time Dragosin is going to go and play for Madrid is when he's on vacation. His agent thinks he is some sort of super agent. I really don't.
That's aged so incredibly well from Chris. 2 years later, we're still in the same boat with Routed Jack. Absolute class. Absolute class. Cracks me up. But looks like this could be the last guest of the evening. We'll give you guys a few minutes in case you are saving the link. Have been planning to come on, but this might be our last guest. Ricky Iceman, great person to end on because we don't get to talk to him too often. But looking forward to what he has to say. But just letting you guys know, we will be taking down the link shortly in case you are holding on to it. Let's go to Ricky here.
Good evening, Ricky. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Big up, Dave, Jack, and
good
everyone in chat.
How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm keeping well. How are you two boys?
Yeah, as well as can be. I mean, it's tough, isn't it? This sort of being down where we are and, still losing games left, right, and centre. I mean, Wolves are in better form than us right now. I mean, and, it's a tough place to be as a Spurs fan, isn't it?
I think Leyton Orient are in better form than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
They probably have a better chance of surviving if they were in our position.
No, it's not great, the things that are going on, And what I'm sick and tired of is everyone blaming the refs, VAR. At the end of the day, you make your own fortune.
Think it's a cop-out to be blaming the refs?
I'm a ref myself, Jack. You know, in youth football, I'm a ref myself in youth football. And in youth football, it's the ref decision. You know, the push on Gabriel, yes, it was 2 hands in the back. The push on Dragerson, yes, 2 hands in the back. It's all depends on force in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
Do you think
depends
there
on.
was enough force on Ryder Dragshin, or do you think he needs to be stronger?
No force enough.
If you're a ref, do you not look at it and sort of go, both occasions, the centre backs were under the ball. You know, they got caught. They misread the flight of the ball.
Both with no fouls.
Yeah.
Both aren't fouls, yeah.
Both with no fouls whatsoever. You know, Gabriel dived like he was in Swan Lake. And he was like applying for the Olympics. And Dragerson is what is he, 6'4"?
Yeah.
6'5"?
And the rest.
You know, he shouldn't getting pushed that easy. That both defenders realised they were not going to win the ball and gone, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If from a rest perspective, though, how do you stop players to a certain degree from looking for you to blow the whistle and give them an easy out all the time?
Regarding what, Dave?
For instance, players going down and looking for the referee to bail them out all the time, or going down and screaming even though they've barely been touched and stuff like that. How as a referee do you sort of judge that?
So, diving. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So diving, in my opinion, if you're diving, it should be a straight red card. Because you're looking to cheat the system, you're looking to cheat the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if someone runs through on goal and they dive, looking for a penalty, should be a straight red card.
Yeah. Same as a centre back as well. If they're looking to be bailed out, it should be a straight red. What do you make of this season so far, Ricky? I mean, where do you think it all went wrong?
Regarding this season,
yeah,
obviously, I'm not going to state the obvious. I'm not going to say about the injuries and what else, because we all know the injury situation is, we had it last season as well. I just think, I saw that training drill the other day with Tudor and the players, and for him to be screaming at the players, look for space, look for this, look to use a hold of the pitch.
Should be basics, no? At this level, they shouldn't have to be told that.
It's under 10 football. It's not pro football. In training drills, you want to see a lot more. You want to see, I've been a coach for 21 years. I've got my UEFA B license. You want to see a lot more. It's all technical when you get to a certain level. Not kids level. Kids level, what you want to do is just create space, attack the space, do this, do that. But at pro level, it's like what you need to do is like a 1-2 pass, then attack the third man.
Yeah. It just, the fact that he even has to be screaming at them in training, get your head up, find the space. I mean, these are all basics. The fact that he keeps coming in here mentioning about movement, that's the basics of being a professional athlete. And that's what really sort of concerns me, in that regard, that, we're sort of back to having to come in and preach the basics, which is scary, which means, if he's having to preach the basics, then he's no time to sort of teach patterns of play or, style of football or stuff like that. It's absolute insanity.
Well, if the players are unfit, and now we are in March.
I know.
If the players are unfit in March, so what's happened all season?
Yeah.
It was like that under Jose, wasn't it? Under Jose, when he left, there, sort of, there was a big sort of question mark around the squad's fitness and stuff. And their attitude was, oh, well, Jose never made us do it. And it's like, well, no, Jose never said that. He said it's up to you to maintain your fit, like to make sure you're in shape, to a certain degree. It's just madness. At Premier League level, you're within a couple of times over a 5-season period, you're questioning the squad's fitness. I mean, what are we doing here?
Okay, so at a youth level, I was at QPR. I signed a pro contract when I was 15 to sign pro at QPR. I was in training 5 days a week. And my training was from 8 until 3 every single day. Every single day. So, and it was fitness, food, BMI, everything else. So why aren't the pros getting it now?
Yeah.
There's no reason a manager has gone into this club and gone, the players ain't fit enough.
Yeah.
No reason. And it probably proves it. It probably proves it in what we're doing.
Yeah. What do you make of Igor Tudor basically calling out the players there yesterday? So I'm just saying, we can't defend, we can't attack, we don't have any physical levels. What do you make of that? Right decision, wrong decision?
100% right. 100% right.
Why?
Huh?
Why? Because some people say when the confidence is low and morale is low, you don't kick him out when he's down.
Yes, you don't kick him out when he's down. 100% correct. But the player need to kick up the arse. They really do. When you got players walking around, I mean, I'm not going to talk about Conor Gallagher because he is a waste of space. He really is.
Yeah.
And, even Palhinha, I love him. I think he's a great addition to the team. But, making silly mistakes, losing the ball in a stupid situation. Conor Gallagher yesterday, the ball fell kindly to him. Made a stupid cross.
Yeah.
Why not go for goal?
Yeah, I forgot about that chance. Yeah, he absolutely fluffed that.
Is it a confidence thing? But is it a confidence thing in the team or is it a confidence thing in the players?
Seems to be a bit of both, Ricky, right? They don't seem to have much confidence in themselves at the minute because none of them are really ripping up any trees and playing that well. But then that goes twofold where there's nobody in the team that you would say is performing out of their shoes or being able to really carry the team at the minute. So then they all maybe have going into it nervous, scared, that it could go wrong again. They've lost so many games now, haven't won at all in 2026. There's no one that's really been ripping up any trees in that period since the new year either. So that maybe that just ends up doubling down on itself where they don't have confidence in themselves, but not even in each other either.
Yeah, so, Xavi was crap yesterday.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So why don't we start, I'm sick and tired of all this going to a 3-5, whatever. Why not go back to a 4-4-2?
Well, he tried that, to be fair, and it just maybe it didn't work by putting Gallagher on the right. He should have put someone like Tell.
4-4-2, have Tell one wing, Mwani one wing, have Solanke Richie up top, have Porro, Souza, Van der Ven, Danso. What's wrong with that?
I think he just picked the wrong team. I think that was part of the issue of Ricky. I'm not even sure if it was formation that was totally the problem. I think it was just picking the wrong players in the wrong positions.
Playing Conor Gallagher right wing back. Why? He never plays there.
Also, him playing as a winger when he's probably one of the most negative players in the team. He never plays forward, never really looks to make runs in behind, isn't a guy that's going to like take on players or anything like that either. I just don't really see, even if you are putting him out of position, he doesn't really have the characteristics or the bravery to even play as like a makeshift winger of any kind.
Yeah, just go back to a 4-4-2 for the rest of the season, and it's so easy to play, to defend, because it goes, when you push up, your front two push up, midfield push up, defense push up.
Yeah.
It's so easy to play.
Yeah.
So easy to play.
Is there any final things? Yeah, sorry, Ricky. Sorry.
When you're playing silly formations, when you're playing 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, you're asking so many different players to do so many different things.
Yeah.
4-4-2 is so simple to play.
Yeah.
But if he's preaching basics in training, you know what I mean? I suppose you have to go back to basics at some point in that regard, Ricky,
Yeah. Is there any final things you want to say, Ricky, before we finish off here?
No, listen, love your channel. I've been subscribed for, 36 months, I believe, maybe more.
Yeah, a long time.
Thanks for tolerating us that long.
Listen, as I said in my comments, it's more of a family than a channel.
No, I
very
appreciate
nice.
that.
Everyone in this stream right now, smash that like, hit that sub button. It's free.
Dude. Thank you, man. Very, very kind.
Very, very kind of you, Ricky. And likewise, we really appreciate everyone's support out there, that especially people that have been around a long time. The fact you're still around tolerating us, I really, really do appreciate it. But Ricky, you go and have a good evening, my man, and hopefully we can pick up a result Thursday.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Great call, Ricky.
Evening,
Thanks
Ricky.
for finishing off strong. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Big
up, fellas.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
And
everybody, that's Iceman, who's usually in the chat,
Yep.
by the way. That's his name in the chat. That's Iceman. So good to speak to Ricky, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a referee, actually. Interesting. Didn't get on with referees in my day.
It was a good call from Ricky. And also, it was interesting that he didn't think that either were a foul, actually, which I kind of am in the same boat as. I didn't think either were fouls. But that's the point, right? The inconsistency then in the decision making. Tom, thank you for the 3 months, my man. Do appreciate it. Don't see any comments from you, so maybe you're just showing the longevity of support. So we do appreciate you, Tom. And hopefully you're having a good evening and able to take your mind off of Spurs, at least now that we're starting to wrap up the show, because we got to get ready psychologically. Big word tonight, psychologically, for a big game on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then dropkick your teacher saying, I don't think either were fouls. That said, though, why didn't we see a response? They were angry, but they didn't use it as a fuel and started walking. Yeah, that's actually fair. I think Chris brought that up, or someone brought that up. Maybe Jerome did. That like when we've had decisions go against us, we have let it kind of get to us, where you can see that the players start to become petulant. They've lashed out. Then kind of commit to maybe naughty challenges on the opposition. They don't use that fuel and that anger in the right areas. They have reacted, strongly. You can tell, like, it's not like they just roll over, but they don't seem to translate that frustration into really just getting back into the game, to be honest. They've actually almost acted more like kind of children when the decisions have gone against them.
I think it's a case of one of them, though. It's gone on that long. At some point, you get beaten up by it. You know what I mean?
Drives you crazy.
You look at the last 2 games. The first one, we went 1-0 down in a big game. And then the last one, we got back into a North London derby, and it took away our momentum. So, if you're a player in that regard, you can sort of...
That's fair.
You get beaten up by it, and if you're on the receiving end of it enough times in that regard. And Big O Tom did say, he wants to say, I love this channel always. Thanks lads. Come on, you Spurs. Good result at the weekend. By the way, 2-0 down in the Old Firm, coming back 2-2. By the way, crazy that they had Celtic fans in there at 10:30 in the morning. Anyway, it's insane. But look, we'll wrap this up for this evening. I'm about to go for a walk. Mrs. is waiting there impatiently, so get the legs run off me or walked off me now for the next hour or so. But everyone, have a good evening. We'll be back tomorrow with your panel show with Billy and Sam. Wednesday, then I'm hoping the 2 Kildare boys are available. And then Thursday is game day. So plenty of content coming your way this week. 6:30 every day this week. Stay tuned.
Yes. Everybody have a good rest of your evenings, and we'll see you back tomorrow for a nice panel show to talk more about a lot of these situations. But thank you guys. Good to see Stevie at the end here. Appreciate Appreciate you all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the support. Thanks to all the people taking their time out of their evenings as well to sit in the queue and have their say and provide really good discussions, as well as also just provide, I want to know if there was a lot of difference of opinions, but just different ways of talking about all the situations at Spurs at the minute. So appreciate you all, and have a good rest of your evening. Come on, you Spurs.
Have a good evening, everyone. Come on, you Spurs.